So I was in Smith's yesterday. I picked up 2 books in one for the bargain price of £6. And it's these ones: The Last Fighting Tommy by Harry Patch and The Soldier's War by Richard Van Emden. Now, those 2 names that you just heard were the last 2 surviving Tommies to ever serve in the First World War. On any Harry Patch, in Harry Patch's case, on any account, any country at all. So I picked this up, £6, 75% off. It is an absolute tome. It's got a grand total of, I will tell you, not including the appendix and sources and acknowledgements. It's got aftermath. Does that count? Yeah, it's got a grand total of 377 pages. It's an absolute volume. But it'll be interesting to see what makes it in, because on the back of this, or on the front even, extraordinary Daily Mail. Sunday Express: Patch was not unique among millions of his comrades who endured that prolonged and supreme test of nerve and courage, but uniquely as the last saviour he embodies more. It's also got recommendations by Daily Telegraph and the Times, all these papers that have supported various wars throughout the years. But it's been interesting to see what quotes make it into these books and what quotes don't. Because Harry Patch, quite famously, said that he wished that the politicians who sent him to fight in the First World War would have picked up their guns themselves and settled their own differences, rather than send working class boys to die in what was basically legalised murder. Direct quote from Harry Patch, the final surviving Tommy who served in the trenches of the Somme. He lived to 111 years old. He died in 2009. Be interesting to see. So I want to talk today about serving our troops and paying respect to our troops and caring for our soldiers, because it seems to be everybody wants to support our troops. Everybody wants to care for our troops and care for our soldiers. But it seems to have, to me, 2 very distinct meanings. I've been called by many people, many so-called patriots, a troop hater, a soldier hater. I hate Britain. I hate the British Army. Not true. I fully, 100%, 1,000,000% support our soldiers. These men, while I do not agree with a lot of the causes that they fight for, a lot of the politicians' wars that they go out and actually fight, these men and women see a cause that they consider worth fighting for. They pick up arms, they go into an active war zone, and they fight and they die for it. Any man who can do that is worthy of my respect, regardless of what the cause is. Regardless. I know I probably couldn't do it. Any man or woman that does that deserves my respect. The difference is, when I say support our troops, and in the next breath I talk about not supporting war, because most war these days is based on lies, based on profit, not based on any moral compass or any moral issue or any ethical issue. The only war that I know of in British history that for me was justified was the Second World War, where we fought against the Nazis. That's it. First World War was based on empire. Afghanistan was based on oil. Fucking Iraq was based on oil. It's all based on making the rich richer while the poor stay poor, and actually go and die for these people. So when I say support the troops, I mean support the troops. I mean only deploy them when there is a war worth fighting, when there is something tangible at risk, when actual freedom is at risk, when people are actually being oppressed and killed and murdered. Then you can deploy troops. Not because you want their land or because you want their oil or their minerals. That's not a worthwhile cause. That is a cause for the rich man, not a cause for the poor man. So Afghanistan, no, I do not support that war. Iraq, no, I do not support that war. And do you know why? Even though people in Iraq were being persecuted and were being harassed and intimidated and murdered under Saddam Hussein, nobody in Iraq asked for British intervention. If there are a peoples in a country crying out for help, go and help. If they're not, mind your own fucking business. They're obviously happy in that country. They're obviously content, even though you may consider it to be a despotic country or despotic regime. If the people aren't asking for help, there's no one coming from that country saying, we need to kick this nutter out. Don't do it. You can go to the UN, you can go to the international community, you can condemn these actions by all means. Do not take military action and risk lives both on your side and on their side, just because you want to play world police and want to be a hero. Do not do it. That was a message for all the lovely politicians out there and bankers and greedy fuckers who make profit off of these wars. Our own Queen included. Our Queen has stocks in BAE Systems, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, all these arms companies. And these noble, happy, content citizens or subjects, should I say, will turn out and sing God Save the Queen and wave their fucking Union flag. The Queen makes money off of sending our boys to die. That is one of the main reasons I'm not a royalist. I'm a staunch Republican. So when you're saying support our troops and you're waving your Union flag and you're actually singing God Save the Queen and saying how much you love the Queen, you're not supporting our troops. What you're saying is, I support the government and everything that they do. When I say support the troops, I mean strengthen the military covenant so that actually when they come home from these wars, regardless of whether they're justifiable, when they come home, they've got a house and a job and they're stable and they've got the mental health support that they actually may need or may not need even, that they may need, and they come home and they're fine. That's what I support. I support only deploying our troops when there is a cause worth fighting. When we are directly at threat, then you can send them. When there is a country, such as Germany was in the 1930s and 40s, that is being oppressed and tyrannised and trodden underfoot, and people from that country are saying, help, then you go and help. When there is a nutcase, such as Hitler, sweeping across Eastern Europe and even Europe as a whole, getting closer and closer to us and actually taking over more and more Europe and crushing entire countries under his boot, then you can get involved. As long as you get involved with other countries. I don't want to see America or Britain, or America and Britain together, just jumping in and playing world police. If you condemn them, France condemns them, Spain, Italy, Germany, Belgium, if all those countries get up and say, no, this guy's not, we need to stop him, then by all means get involved. Because this person has been condemned by the entire international community. If you've tried all the sanctions, then get involved. The sanctions and diplomacy should always come first. Because what you do when you send someone to war, when you send peoples to war, you're sending them to die. And we should always think about whether that's worthwhile first. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.